to welcome all of you warmly to LIVE2LEAD 2023. This will be our 7th year hosting LIVE2LEAD.
To me, development is not those and things, but to what extent people will live independent lives so that they can feed, grow, shelter, defend, and protect themselves.
A legacy-minded leader is somebody who looks beyond his own circles, his own self-interest, and even dares to look beyond generations after him.
Then you know the person is a leader, because that's legacy. They are thinking of tomorrow. They've gone beyond today.
I came to this program, LIVE2LEAD 2023, to improve or to add value upon myself. That was my expectation.
If I didn't learn anything, I've learned that leaders pay a price, and it takes paying the price to be a leader and be able to pull others even beyond where you have reached. So yes, it's been a very impactful session.
It's sort of amazing. It's been engaging from the morning session up to now. We have learned and are going to impact the next generation. It's a must attend for next year. Join next year and don't miss out. Thank you very much.
Why is LIVE2LEAD important? I think it is embedded in the very aim of the conference, LIVE2LEAD. Our purpose as human beings is to lead.
Hello, dear leader. My name is Samuel Eyim, Chief Leadership Coach at the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, CTL Africa, and I have an important invitation for you. Why are some nations developed and thriving, while others are underdeveloped and struggling? Why are some businesses flourishing and others languishing? Why are some churches growing and others dying? These are important questions for leaders. So are you a leader? At what level are you leading? What impact are you making? What is your understanding and concept of leadership? The way you think about leadership is the way you do leadership. And as John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is the cause, all others are the effect. So, at the Center for Transformational Leadership, we've created this program to help you transform your understanding of leadership. This program is going to be based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. As a John C. Maxwell certified coach, I'm going to walk you through these laws, and we're going to give you exercises and activities around these laws to help install a new transforming concept of leadership for you. This will change the way you do leadership completely. So I invite you to check our website and our social media pages and to register for the Leadership Mindset and Heartset program. This program is on 2 levels. The first level is understanding the laws of leadership, where we are going to walk you through the laws of leadership in 3 to 5 days. And this will give you the foundations of leadership. The second level is walking the laws of leadership. Here, we take you through a 15-week journey through the laws of leadership. Every week, you will have opportunity to study one law, apply the law throughout the week, meditate upon it, do the exercises, and regroup with other like-minded people who are learning the laws of leadership, exchange ideas, and share your lessons. So do not miss this opportunity. Register now for the Leadership Mindset and Asset program.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Sarah, how are you?
Doing very great. What about you guys in Ghana?
We are doing good. How's the weather in Geneva today?
Look at me, all covered up, trying to keep warm. Trying to keep warm, but so far so good. I can't complain. It's the time of the
Thank God,
season.
thank God. Maybe we should send some sunshine through StreamYard to you in Geneva there.
Exactly. Great.
Great,
So,
great to have you always supporting us. Good evening, everyone. We're going to have another great session this evening, and I'm excited that we have three young men who are going to do us the honors this evening. If you are joining this evening for your first time, please know that you're very welcome. We are here because of you. And so please feel free, feel at ease, and invite your friends to join. I see William Darfur, who is connected from Tema. And we know so many people connect from all over the world who don't introduce themselves. Please do us the honors, introduce yourself so we can announce you to the whole wide world. This evening, we are continuing our discussions, Sarah, isn't it, on LIVE2LEAD learnings?
2023, yes. Lessons that people have learned since they attended on the 6th of October, and they're going to share with us what they have taken away and what they are implementing. Okay, we have these three young people. It's a men's affair today.
Wow, that's good. All right. We see that I think they're all joining. Their internet is misbehaving a bit, but Richard is here. So we would not waste much time. We're going to start with Richard Jenfi, who is here. And once the others join, we will introduce them to you as we do on this segment of the program. The speakers will tell us a bit more about themselves. Richard Jenfi is a sales team leader and youth organizer of the United Nations Association from Brong Ahafo region. He's here with us. Emmanuel Edem there is a tutor and brands and business development executive. He's with us. Richmond is a student at the Presbyterian College of Education. Richmond is not here yet, so we'll bring Richard and Emmanuel to the platform and we'll have a little chat with them before they start. Sarah, take us away.
Great. So we'll start with Richard. Richard, good evening and welcome to the Leadership Platform. So just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you were born, and what you're doing now, and why you came to LIVE2LEAD.
Okay, so my name is Jensi. I was born in Ashanti region, Kumasi Development Assembly.
Richard, could you please speak up a bit?
A little bit,
yeah. And it's very faint.
Yeah, so, perfect. Thank you.
All right, so my name is Richard Jensi. I was born in Ashanti region. That's Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, to be specific, from Fanoti Teaching Hospital. In the year
Okay.
1989, yes. Currently, I'm a sales team leader at Diamond Microfinance, and also youth organizer, United Nations Association Ghana in the Bron region. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's great to have you. And is this your first time here on the leadership platform?
Yes, this is my first time. The last year I joined through virtual. I think the network and other things. This year I decided to join in person to get all the benefits and all the networks that LIVE2LEAD offers.
Okay, awesome, awesome. It's great we had you in person. And what was the difference between the virtual one and the in-person one? What did you see that was different?
So the virtual is great, but the in-person is awesome because physically you have the opportunity to meet those leaders, great people. You need to meet them physically, greet them, take their contact network and other things. So you get all those opportunities. And moreover, with the network issues and unstable network, I think being there physically offers more opportunity than virtual.
All right. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. So we'll now move to, is it Richmond?
No, Emmanuel there.
Emmanuel. Richmond hasn't joined us yet. So Emmanuel, over to you. Just take us away. Tell us who you are and what brought you to LIVE2LEAD. Okay, we dropped him. So maybe Sam, before.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll get Emmanuel back online. I think his network is playing games. So, Richard, get ready. You're going to do all the work for your colleagues this evening.
Sure.
And now, but before we go, I mean, you are a young person, and what is the motivation that you had for even thinking of joining LIVE2LEAD? I have a lot of executives who don't seem to get it. What was your motivation for joining LIVE2LEAD?
Okay, 3 days before the program, I called a friend who is a media person, and I told him, "Oh, I want to come to the program live." He's a very popular person that we all know. Then I said, "Really? Do you have that much money to come to Accra to get a hotel and attend the program?" Then I said, "No." There's sometimes, as John C. Maxwell said, everything falls and rises on leadership. You can have all the knowledge and everything that you have, but without leadership, guidance, and networking, it's likely you may fail. So this platform is a very huge platform that we get opportunity to get all the skills and the practical aspect of life, motivation from those who are there already to help us to also build ourselves.
All right.
Okay. All right. So that's great. So you were LIVE2LEAD last year. You are LIVE2LEAD today, which means that you're determined to have a culture of developing yourself. So we'll have a bit more of discussion later on. But at this point, we're going to give you the platform now to share your learnings from LIVE2LEAD 2023. Take your time and share your learning, especially as your colleagues are falling off because of their internet. But we'll give you the platform 10 to 15 minutes to share your lessons with us. And feel free to share from your own perspective, and we'll come back to have a chat with you after that.
Thank you.
But try to check on your sound. From my end, it's a bit still faint. So I don't know what the issue is, but try to speak up. Okay. Over to you. The platform is yours.
Okay. So thank you. I'm trying to get my slides. Okay.
Okay. All right. You know how to share your slides, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay. So I think it's moving.
Right. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, whilst Richard is sorting out, okay, there we go. Thank you, Richard. Take us away.
Okay, so my takeaways from the Lead to Lead 2023. The first one is from the famous physician and cardiothoracic surgeon, Dr. Frimpong Boateng, professor. He said, knowledge can be taught, but for attitude, you have to learn from someone. And that one is very true. I realize that sometimes we think we can learn everything from book. We can learn everything from the classroom. We can learn all the theories. But without attitude or right mindset, we can never achieve what we want to achieve. Because moreover, we need that practical experience, that practical part of it in order to have the fruitful part of it. Attitude, we cannot learn attitude from book because it's practical. Wherever we want to be, whatever we want to be, somebody is already there and we want to be there. So the best thing to do is to learn it from that person who has been there or is already there. And that is one lesson that I learned from Professor Frimpong Boateng that I think is so much valuable to me. The next takeaway too is from Professor Frimpong Boateng. He says someone should live your life when you are no longer there. Before someone can live your life when you are no longer there, it means that you are living a good legacy, a good record. Because no one will live your life when you live your life anyhow. You don't have any boundaries as youth or as a leader or as a youth leader. Someone has to see something better in you, learn from you so that the person can step in your shoes when you are not there in the company. It can be your family. It can be your church. It can be anywhere. It can be when you are dead or when you have left the company. Many a times as you are in an organization, you realize that someone is resigning and you say, oh, hallelujah. Because that person that didn't leave a good record or doesn't have good relationship with the co-workers, doesn't have a good, what do we call it, a good science that will let someone emulate that kind of attitude or live the life. So if you are living a life full of lies, full of untruth, and then nobody would like to live your life when you are no longer there. So I think Professor Frimpong Boateng, for instance, everybody would like to be like him because he is a great man, a man of honor, a man of integrity. He has fought with all his strength to gain the integrity, despite all the challenges and all the problems that he went through, coming all the way from Germany to serve Mother Ghana. He left a legacy for all of us to live his life. Whoever wants to be a surgeon or wants to be a doctor who aspires to be like Professor Frimpong Boateng, that seems to be a very good thing that we all need to learn to have a good legacy at wherever we find ourselves in life. Okay, so this takeaway too, I took from CEO of ZP and Techi Apia. He said, a leader, or as a leader, you need an ecosystem to succeed. An ecosystem can be a group of leaders who are like-minded or have your own vision in order to succeed. You can never do anything or everything alone or by yourself, no matter how wise or how knowledgeable or how intellectual you are. You need people, or you need an ecosystem, a cycle in order for you to succeed. So as a leader, you need other leaders or other leaders of leaders in order to succeed. If you're a leader and you go to your friend or your colleague as a leader to seek for advice, it's not bad, or it doesn't give you the image of like you don't know anything or something. You need to go to the person and then learn from the person. Sometimes there are certain things that you do in certain ways that you realize that you are not getting the full potential when you consult your colleague. You realize that you have done it better if you have known certain things earlier. And sometimes we tend to fail to consult because we think we know everything, and that is not good. As a leader, you need to have an ecosystem or a group of leaders or a group of leadership people that are ready to help you, to groom you, to succeed, like CTL Africa. So my next takeaway is from CEO of ZP, Mr. Andrew Techiapia. He says, leaders give up to grow up. That one is very simple, but very, 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 very strong. But there are certain things that you don't need to hold on to some extent that it will eating you up. Sometimes if you're a leader, you tend to say that, oh, this might say is funner, this, that I'm doing, this, that how I do it, this is my principle, these are my rules, and these are my regulations. And you see that a time will come, you realize you are not getting the results that you need of, or you want by using that same process or same demand from your followers. So sometimes you need to give up certain things, certain attitude, certain principles, certain things that you think you are holding on so much that it is not getting you the results. You need to let it go in order for you to grow up. Sometimes you have to let go your pride, let go your bad habit and attitude that you are thinking that you are so much into that you cannot leave it. You need to give those things up in order to grow up. So my next takeaway is from CEO of ZP, that as a leader, you need to pick someone and have a purpose for that person. Sometimes as a leader, we always think we need those who are already made up, those who are already made, those that are great salespeople, great people that are masters in their fields in order to succeed. But it's not always that's the case. Sometimes you need to pick someone that you think that the person has a goal, the person has a dream, that it needs only just a guide in order for you to help for the person to also grow. And one thing about this thing is that if you're able to pick someone from nowhere, from nowhere or having nothing or doesn't know much about what you are doing and you are helped, if the person succeeds, the person will see you as his or her God and will thank you forever, and he will be very loyal to you as compared to someone who you pick, or someone who is already made. And that one is very, very, I think is very important as young leaders or as leaders. We need to pick someone and have a purpose for that person, we need to pick someone and then groom the person for the person to be what he or she wants to be. Okay, so my next takeaway is from John C. Maxwell. He says, everything falls on leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And that one is very true because without leadership, nothing will work. As the adage in Akan says, or what they say, and it's true because Alexander the Great once said, I'm not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep. I'm afraid of a sheep led by a lion, or an army of sheep led by a lion. We see sheep as very weak, as very timid, but the leadership is very important because being led by a lion who has all the qualities of a great leader, brave and very focused, with that kind of leadership, that mindset can turn those sheep into lions and they can fight the battle and win. And that is very, very, very great. We have a lot of countries in our world that doesn't have much resources, that doesn't have much human resource like Africa, that doesn't have much things that we have over here in Africa, but they are doing very great. They are doing an amazing job. They are doing well. I can say that they have turned some part of Africa or some countries in Africa, the leaders are so-called coats, chiefs, and they are benefiting from us. They are taking our resources, they are taking our human resources and everything. So I think John C. Maxwell quotes that every year he mentioned is indeed true, that everything rises and falls on leadership. Without leadership, no nation can grow, and no nation or no organization can succeed and achieve its goals and full potentials that they want to achieve. Okay, so with good leadership, we will have a great direction. As Richard L. Evans said, your direction is more important than speed. No matter how great you are, how many resources that you have, the knowledge that you have, and everything, without direction, you are not going anywhere. No matter how your speed will be, no matter what or how your speed or your strength will be, without direction or without good or great leadership, you will fail at all costs. Because you can run or you can go faster as you want within your own means, but if the direction is not the right one, it means that you are bound to fail, and you will fail, and you will surely fail. Just as a matter of time, you will fail. Okay, so my next takeaway is from John C. Maxwell. He said, I cannot trust you if you do not have someone that you are accountable to. This one is very important. As leaders, we need to also be accountable to someone that when we are going wrong, when we are going wayward, that the person will correct us, that the person will guide us to say, no, this one, you need to do it this way, this one, you need to do it this way. You may have the great intellect and everything, but without a guide from someone who is already at where you are, who is guiding you, who is leading you, for you to also become a great leader, you will fail. Because you are not accountable to anyone wherever or whenever you are going wayward, or you are backsliding, or you are veering away from your goals, nobody will correct you. And that one is so important that sometimes we need that person who can say that, no, this one, you have to do it this way. Even Jesus Christ, who was a great leader and is a great leader, at the time of death, that the decision was so critical that he saw what is coming upon him. He said, God or Father, let this cup pass by me. You see, but at that time you can see that he was a great leader, though, but he was in pain, in agony, and that kind of pain and that kind of the thing that was coming to him make him like lose almost the focus, and God strengthened him for him to achieve his goals. And I think accountability and relying on someone or helping you for you to focus on your goals is very important as a leader. So John C. Maxwell also said, high road leaders require servant leadership. As a leader, it's not always that you demand accountability. Sometimes you need to put yourself in the shoes of your followers in order for you to also know what they feel and then be able to help them. I think my 15 minutes is up. I'll wait for the next minute to conclude my slides. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you so very much for your presentation. We will come back to you. I have been taking notes and I have a few questions. So just take some water. I think Emmanuel is now on the call. So bring up Emmanuel, and Emmanuel will tell us a bit about himself. Let's see. Emmanuel, are you here with us? Let's see.
I think he's still having a little bit of a challenge, but he's coming up.
Okay. It's unfortunate.
Health is coming. You're here?
But we can't see you. We can see you at the background, but we can't see you.
Yes.
On the screen.
I can't see him on the screen. Let me see yours. Maybe your background
having a little lightning problem.
Okay, let me just try something.
Yes.
1 minute. Let's see. No. I think your lightning is dark. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Let's see if Richmond is ready. Try to see if you can get some light. Unless there's darkness in your place. So Richmond, you are very welcome to the leadership platform. Can you turn your phone into the portrait, into the landscape? Turn it this way.
Rotate it.
Rotate your phone so we can. No. Okay, you don't have the rotation on your phone.
Okay. All right.
You have to activate the rotation so that we can see you on a full screen. But we won't take too much of your time for that. If you can put a rotation so that it's on a landscape, that's better. But it's okay. You are welcome. And
thank you very much.
We want you to tell us a bit about yourself. And who is Richmond Duku? Where do you come from? What do you do? How have you come where you are? And what do you do? Your family and so on. Just briefly.
Okay. So thank you once again for the opportunity to be on the leadership platform. I'm very honored to be here. Okay, so my name is Doku Richmond. I'm a level 200 student of the Presbyterian College of Education, which means upon completion, I'll become a professional teacher. I am an Ewe, a Christian, and aside being a student, I also have the vision of helping people discover their purpose and actualize their potential, because it was a problem I was having when I was coming up. So when I got an answer to it, I decided that I'll form a club around this vision of helping people discover their purpose and actualize their potential. So my club that I formed in the year 2021 to this effect is called the Future Genius Club. And since then, we've been organizing personal development program around this topic and other programs to ensure that there is holistic development of our members. That is what I can say about myself.
Wow, that's interesting. But tell me a bit. You said when you were coming up, there was some. What is the motivation? Give us a bit more meat about what actually motivated you from this club to help others.
Okay, yes. So when I got to GHS story back in GHS, we got to a point where we had to select the schools and the courses we had to do as students. But I don't know where this weird feeling came from, but I was having a feeling of what will God have me do? Because this life is only one, and I don't want to do something that in case I die before my time or something happens, I'll go before God and God will be like, this thing you did wasn't what I had planned for you. So I was crushed with this existential crisis that I wanted to know what God wanted me to do. And not to be arrogant, but I am an intellectual person. I don't like to just hear like, okay, a prophecy just came and then, okay, I'm supposed to do this, to do that by prophecy. No, I wanted it to align with my abilities, my talent that I was having and things. So I was in an existential crisis, I may put it that way. And I read the scriptures and I was able to unravel it. But I did not get the answers there. Through SHS, I've been doing my research upon research, and now I can say I've come to a conclusive definition or a conclusive guide to help somebody to discover their purpose and career in that manner.
So how did you discover your purpose? You read the scriptures and then what? What else did you do? And what is the purpose you
I read
found?
the scriptures. I read articles. I also watched videos. I actually even took a Coursera course by I've forgotten the man, but a Coursera course on purpose. And though I did not take the certificate because I wasn't having money then, I still learned from it. And from him, I learned about people like uh, what's the name of the man that wrote Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, how he was a Jew. Like, so I learned a lot across board because I did not want my message about purpose to come to only Christians because I have Muslim friends and atheists that there and stuff. So I don't want my solution to come out to feed only the Christian community. But being a Christian, the model that I came up with, it was based on like the motivation came from the Bible, but you wouldn't know that there's the motivation. And the motivation is you were created to solve problems. You were created to solve problems. So whatever era you were born into, whatever community you were born into, your purpose is to solve problems, and that problems will align with your internal makeup. So we can go into depth, but this is the overview. I center mine around problem solving,
Okay.
and I can
This
go
is
and
great.
connect it with the scriptures. But
One of these days, we'll bring you up to the leadership platform and share your model with the whole wide world. But now, you're going to share with us your lessons from Live to Lead. So, how did you join Live to Lead? How did you
wow.
come to know about Live to Lead and participate? Yes.
So joining Live to Lead was a dream come true. I am a mentee of Madam Doris Ahiati, and I was in her group, CCL group, WhatsApp group, and then she dropped the message that, oh, Live to Lead conference 2023 is coming up, and the organizers need people to support in ushering and stuff. Then I texted her, mommy, I want to join you. By the time I had texted her, she said the opportunity or the slide for those things had been filled up, but she will see what she can do about it. So when I'm there, I'll text her, mommy, the program, no. Right now, I text her again. Yeah. So last minute, she was like, okay, she has gotten permission. I can come with her. as happy. Yeah, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure, mommy, yeah, I'll come. So I did not let her down. I came, I really listened, learned a lot. I even took notes after the program. I shared with her. She was like, wow, I'm doing amazing. And I was proud of myself.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. So at this point, we're going to give you the stage to share in the next 10 to 15 minutes what your
Okay.
learnings are. I know that you have a pile of notes that you compile from Live to Lead. I think that will be, we take that and publish it. But share with us
Thank you.
in a short
Yes,
moment what
please.
are your key takeaways.
Okay.
All right.
So before I start, um, I'll be using slides, but I don't know if you have the slides
Um, let me.
because my phone couldn't permit me using slides. I sent the slides to Mr. Richmond.
Okay. All right. So let
Yes.
me try to reach it, but you can go ahead to
Okay.
uh,
Yes. So I titled my
to
presentation "Afterthoughts on the Live to Lead
introduce your
2023
subject.
conference."
Well,
Yes. I titled
yeah,
my
one second.
presentation. Okay, 1 second.
So Hassan is getting the presentation ready. Let me see
Yeah.
what comments that we have. Conrad Kakraba, who was our MC at Leave to Lead, says it's good to hear from perspective of young people who attended the program. And Doris Arthur is here watching live from Accra, and she says, thank you so much. Whitney Nyakun says, Mr. Richard, that is a very nice presentation. Yes, Richard, we love your presentation. It was succinct, it was very focused, and easy to read. Thank you so much for that. And then Kobe K says, good evening, and he is watching from Dakuma. And let me see who else is here. Of course, William, we have seen William, and Joseph Amoa says, good evening. He is watching from Accra. So these are the
Okay.
people who put in comments. Sam, are we good for Richard to go? Or
Yes, I
Richard?
know Richmond had said the presentations. I'm trying to see if I can get them, but I'm not getting the presentations.
All right. I'll check on my side to see whether he sent it to me as well. If not, Emmanuel,
Okay. Um,
Richmond, are you able to even if you have it on your computer somewhere, can you just
Yes. So
yes
as he's searching for the slides, I can start.
yes please do.
Yes. So I titled my presentation "Afterthoughts on the Left to Lead Conference 2023," where the word "afterthoughts" means my reflections on the Left to Lead 2023 conference. So the first thing I noted is, well, I started with a quote by Mr. Andrew, Mr. Andrew, and he said that if you do not solve a problem, you are useless.
Wow.
It's very blank. If you do not solve a problem, you are useless. And if you can remember, I said that my model of purpose is around problem solving. So when he made that statement, it really went inside with me, because here is somebody who has been in the world of entrepreneurship, and he has come out to say that if you are not solving a problem, you are a useless person. So I wrote it down and I began to reflect on it in the context of the title we had for this year's Live to Lead conference, which was Leading for a Legacy. So if you are not solving a problem, there is no way you can call yourself a leader. That is the first reflection I had. If you want to call yourself a leader, you need to be solving a problem. You can't occupy a leadership position and you are not solving a problem. Okay, you can't. So if you are not solving a problem, there is no way you can call yourself a leader, and you can't lead in such a manner that you will lead for a legacy if the problem you are solving does not transcend your time into the time of generations unborn. So the first quote that I took, and I had to reflect on it and shape my context of leadership, my idea of leadership, is that if I say I'm a leader, then the question I need to ask myself is, what is the problem I'm solving? If I'm not solving a problem, then there is no way I'm a leader. That is the first takeaway that I took. Then the second one was from Mr. John C. Maxwell, our own papa, our own founder. And he's made a statement that instead of instead of confirmation bias, we need collaboration bias. And it's very simple. So I went and then I was meditating on this big statement that Mr. John C. Maxwell said. And I realized that confirmation bias, the little research I did is that you are, what does a bias means in the first place? A bias means that you are favoring somebody unfairly above the other. So a confirmation bias is in the sense that you are favoring factors, or you are favoring evidence to confirm a hypothesis that you have. So you have a certain hypothesis, you are favoring certain evidences to make sure that your hypothesis you have in your mind is true, whilst ignoring the other evidences that go against that hypothesis. I don't know if I come clear. I'm putting it again. A confirmation bias is the idea that you are choosing evidences that go in your way. You are choosing evidences that favor a certain cause of yours while neglecting the evidences that go the contrary. So he is saying that certain leaders don't want evidences to the contrary of what they've decided to do. They only want to be praised on. But as a leader, you shouldn't have confirmation bias, but instead you should have collaboration bias. You should favor the idea that you are going to work with people. So irrespective of the challenges and things that will come, you are still going to work with people, and you prefer to work with people than break ties with them. If you really want to create a legacy, remember this: you can't create a legacy alone as a leader. You will need the support of a team. Now, if you have a team, there will be disagreement and stuff. And instead of getting a team, that will be confirmation bias. That will be giving you praises to support whatever course you want to take. Rather, take a collaboration bias people that, irrespective of the problems that may come between, you can work together and still accomplish whatever you want to do. That is the second takeaway. And my third takeaway was from Ryan Lex. And I must say, Ryan Lex was one of the speakers that really caught my attention with his humor and the way he presented. And Ryan Lex, please, the third slide. Ryan Lex said that there is no level of leadership that doesn't have a Rex. There is no level of leadership that doesn't have a risk. And this, the quote is, there's no version of leadership which is not risky. And the reflection is this: knowing that there is a potential for you to fail at your leadership, that is the problem you are solving. You need to invest in learning how that you can reduce, let me see, that risk. Likewise, you might fail at building a legacy, and so invest in how to reduce that risk. So risk here simply means failing at what you are doing. So Ryan Lex made a statement that there is no version of leadership that doesn't have risk to it. There is no portfolio you are holding as a leader. There is no problem you are solving as a leader that cannot fail. It has the potential to fail. But the interesting thing is that people have gone that through before, and you can learn from them. The interesting thing is that there are people who has gone through that trail and they've had experiences. So when you go to them for mentorship, they can mentor you on how you can reduce that risk. They can mentor you so that you can reduce that risk and not fail at it. So whatever level of leadership you have, the reflection here is that listen, go to mentors, go to people so that and learn from them so that you can reduce your risk of failing at it. In the same way, you want to build a legacy as a leader, there are people like John C. Maxwell who have already built a legacy. So go to them, learn from them, and then your risks at building a legacy will be very low. Then my third takeaway was from the beautiful woman Kendra Scott. Kendra Scott. Yeah, so she made a statement and I took it in a quote. No, the fourth slide. Yes, she said, failure is an option. If we learn from it, we will grow from it, and it will be a bridge for you to the other side. This is a quote from a woman who's that was the first time I was hearing from her, truthfully speaking. And her story of how she started a jewelry shop, starting from when she had a hat shop and things, and how the stepdad died, and a whole lot. I really felt for her. And coming from that background, she was saying that listen, failure is an option. Failure is an option because you can learn from it and you can use it to build a bridge so that you can walk over it into success. So the reflection is simple. Rather than letting failure demoralize you, let it be a source of motivation. Simple. Let your failures be a source of motivation. I think it was Thomas Edison who says that he hasn't failed, but he has found so many ways that he could go about making a light bulb. Failure is not the end. Failure is an option that you want to dwell in. If you fail at something, it should be a learning curve rather than your habitation. If you fail, know that you are going to use it towards motivate you that I failed, but I can do better. I can do better. And one of the things that anytime I feel at doing something, one of the things I tell myself is that at this moment, nobody is seeing that I've failed. Or at this moment, some people may laugh at me that I've failed. But I know that this is what makes the story interesting. That one day I'll grow old with my grandchildren around, and then I'll be telling them the stories of how I wanted to build this, I wanted to do that, I wanted to do this, and I failed there, I failed there. And this is the part of the success story that brings in the suspense and the things that we all like to watch in movies. You never like to watch a movie where there is joy throughout, without no tragedy, without no. And that is the same thing with life. Life is not a picnic or a vacation. Life is a battlefield. So there are failures, but let it be a motivation that one day you will tell this failure to somebody and you laugh over it. Okay, so then the fifth slide, and that will be my last afterthoughts and the reflection. The fifth slide, please. Yes, so the fifth slide, I saw that Mr. Richard also spoke about it, and I realized that the fifth slide, which is the quote from Mr. John C. Maxwell, was very powerful, that it caught everybody's attention. Oh, and what is the quote? He said, I don't trust anyone who has humanness in them, except if that person has somebody he or she is accountable to. And that statement really caught me, because it took me to the scriptures of the book of John, if not chapter 2, the ending verse, where John said that Jesus did not have to trust any man because he knew what was in men. So when John C. Maxwell started that, I cannot trust any person with humanness in them, then that part, it went to sync with what the Bible says in the book of John, that Jesus did not trust any man because he knew what was in men. But the ending part, that was where it blew my mind. He said that except if the person has somebody he or she is accountable to. And that was the part that took me off, it blew me off. and told me about the intelligence of this man we have called John C. Maxwell. That is, if you're a leader and accountable to somebody, you will tend to watch your habits and the way you go about things. You will tend to watch your utterance because you know that there is a higher authority over there that will either penal network. Their displeasure that they will express towards what you've done will demoralize you. Yes, so if you have somebody above you looking at you, that person you're accountable to, you realize that your actions and everything will be in place because you don't want to go back to the person and as your accountability partner, all that you could say is, I'm sorry I did this, I'm sorry I did that. Then be like, wow, I did this, I did that, and it was all happiness, and the person will be proud of you. Yes. So on this note, these were the codes and the statements I meditated on them and it really benefited me. Shaped. I think I'm back. It has shaped my understanding of leadership and how I can lead my organization. That is the Future Genius Club into bring my presentation to a close. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Great takeaways. Thank you. Thank you, Richmond. Thank you so much. And we'll come back to you whilst we have Emmanuel. If Emmanuel is
Sure.
here, this presentation, and then we'll have some interaction with you later on. Thank you so much. And I love your slides also. I mean, these slides that you guys have put on, I mean, it's really top. You can see that you are really the current generation who are teaching us nice slides. So thank you so much. Over
Thank
to
you
you.
Wonderful.
too.
Good. All right. So now move to Emmanuel. Your internet and lighting have caused you some problems, but hey, thank God. As we are just hearing from Richmond, that's what makes the story interesting. That one day you were going on the leadership platform and your internet kicked you out several times and your light knocked you off. They couldn't see your face, but eventually you are here. So that is the story and the power of failure, which makes the story interesting. I love that. All right, so Emmanuel, we'll go straight to tell us about yourself and how you got to live to lead, and then we will move into your takeaways.
All right. Thank you very much, CTL Africa. And thank you, Auntie Sarah and Uncle Sam. Okay, so before I would want to
You
say
may
that.
want to speak up a bit because your end is a bit faint.
Oh, okay. Is it okay now?
Try and let's see. Continue to speak up.
All right. So my name is Emmanuel Edem. There, Edem already tells you that I'm an Ewe. So I come from a family of three siblings. I'm the only male, and in the middle of the females as well. So currently, I'm a
Very
teacher
well
working
protected.
at Polypet Academy and also a branch and business development executive at Onyx Properties. I like to be around children because I want them to know that we are the present leaders and not the future leaders. So because of that, we have formed a club, which is the Leadership and Communications Club, and I happen to be the coordinator for that club. How I got to live to lead, I would say that brings me back to Ryan Leake's question. Said, how did we get into the room? Now I got into the room because of the help of some people, starting from meeting certain people and they leading me to meeting other people, and then I got there. Now I was watching Live to Lead one Saturday, and then I was listening to the host of the Live to Lead Ghana edition, and then something prompted me. I should just comment, say thank you or something. So I commented, and then I deleted the first comment. Then I commented again. This time around, it was lengthy. Somebody will say it was a great timing or something strategic. So it was projected. Uncle Sam read it, and then he gave me a free pass to live to lead. So Uncle Sam, thank you for that as well. So now to my takeaways. Leads to the introduction. I would want us to know that leadership is service and not a position. Now, as a young person, when we are being given the opportunity to lead, we should take it as a service. We are there to serve people and not to impose certain things on them. Now, Jesus Christ is the best example of a leader because when he came to serve instead of allowing us to serve him. Now, so when we are given the opportunity, let's know that it's because of these people we are even having the position and not because of ourselves, whether we are elected or we were appointed, because of the people we are to lead. That is why we have that position. Away from that, a legacy minded leader. Now, Gifty Enti said a legacy minded leader is one who looks beyond his own circle, self interest, and dares to look even beyond the generations to come. Now, when we say someone is legacy minded, it means that person thinks about his decision, his actions for a period of time, looks at it and feels or thinks in the next year to come, is this decision I'm making going to benefit the people I'm taking the decisions for? I have one rule I like very much, which is a 10 over 10 over 10 rule. Those who know me know that I like to use this rule very much. Now, the 10 over 10 over 10 rule is simple. Before you do something, you think about it. In the next 10 seconds, this decision I'm making, is it going to be relevant? In the next 10 hours, 10 minutes, in the next 10 hours. Now, after looking at the short term, you then extend it in the next 10 days, in the next 10 months, and the next 10 years. So somebody who is legacy minded, who always look out for the next generation. So something like looking at the next 10 months before taking a decision. Please, the next slide. Now, I'm moving on to Gifty NT. Now, she said a legacy minded leader is passionate about building others. Now, Richmond mentioned something that was very, very interesting. Now, because we are legacy minded, we are looking at generations to come. Our sole purpose is to build others so when we are not available, they can take up these positions. Sometimes teenagers or young people like myself, we get certain opportunities and then we know very well that we are not the right people for this opportunity. But because we want to keep all of these things to ourselves, we want to give it a try, knowing very well it's not meant for us. So to be legacy minded, we should build ourselves up. We should build each other up. So I want to admonish the young leaders out there to help each other. When a community is stable, everyone in the community is stable. But if the community itself is not stable, then everyone in the community is not stable. So we should be passionate about building others up. The next one is we should learn to be the leader we would want to see as a subordinate. Now, I want to go away from leadership a little and talk about football. Sometimes when we are watching football and then we see the football players making certain mistakes, those of us that sit back at home to shout a lot, most of us haven't even kicked the ball before. So in order to be a legacy minded leader, we should learn to be a leader that we would want to see as a subordinate. So we should work hard at being that ideal leader we have in our minds. Some of us have decorated, or let me say designed, an ideal leader who would want to lead us. So let's look at that picture, work on ourselves, and be that leader. So everybody's views are heard. Now, going to Andrew Techi Apia, I like the quote he made earlier. He said, people create the balance sheet. Balance sheets don't manifest. Most of us know, let me say, most of us don't really understand this because maybe we are not doing business, especially the young people. Now, what he meant by saying is we should value people. We should value people rather than valuing our works. Now, people creating the balance sheet. If you are building a home or a house, the sole purpose of building a house is to fill it with people. If you are building a company, your sole purpose is to employ people. So if we are not treating the people the way we want them to be or we want them to feel, then we are not going to have the productivity we are looking for. So rather than investing in infrastructures and then other things, we should rather invest in people. He also mentioned listening is an act and not a discipline. Now, listening is not something or it's not a skill that have to be mastered. Rather, it is something that have to be done effectively. Now, good leaders listen effectively. When listening to you, they want you to feel like you are the most important person at that point whenever you are talking to them. So in order to be a legacy-minded leader, I learned that I have to listen effectively and not listen as if it were a discipline to be mastered. He also mentioned we have to have a purpose, and he quoted, he said, I quote, solve a problem. If you don't solve a problem, you are worthless. Now, having a purpose or finding a purpose is looking out for something that drives you, something that compels you to do something or to be great. Now, when you find that, we should tend to use that to solve an issue, it being in our families, at home, or anywhere we happen to find ourselves. Mind you, problems are everywhere. And when we don't ask questions, we don't get them. For instance, so many people saw a mango fall, but Isaac Newton sat down and asked, why is the mango falling? What is making the mango fall? Now, everybody sits at home or goes to school, and then we are taught force. A force is a pull or push of an object. Away from that, Kendra Scott. Kendra Scott mentioned that we should do what we can when we can. We've all heard from school that procrastination is the thief of time. So when you have the chance to do something, we should do it. Now, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step in the right direction. If you don't make that step today, you will not get to where you want to go to in the years you have purposed to do that. So everything starts from somewhere. You have to make that first step in order to get there. Now, nothing gets perfect when you don't start. Just like you want to start a business and then you are waiting to have everything in place before you start. In doing that, you don't really get the experience, or let me say the challenges that will compel you to do more. So sometimes you just have to start and everything will fall in place just like that. The second thing she mentioned was we should look for the good in every situation and in every person. It's high time we stop asking ourselves, why is this happening to me? Or why me? And ask ourselves, what is this thing teaching me? Now, everything has something good it teaches us. Everything has something good it tells us. But sometimes we tend to ignore the message it's giving us because we tend to focus on the effect it's having on us rather than looking out for the situation, looking out for how to make that benefit us. The next thing I learned from Kendra Scott was who mentors you is as important as what they say to you. Now, everybody can give an advice. Everybody, coming down to the teenagers. When some of them are encountering certain stuff, they go to their friends for advice. But we should look at the person giving us the advice more than, or it's also the person giving us the advice is also equally important to what the person is telling us. Now, I would say that the person is more important because we should always go to somebody with more experience, somebody who has learned or has done it, made a mistake, and learns from it. Now, when this person is giving us this advice, this person will not allow us to make the mistakes he or she made earlier before. So we should always look at the person giving us the advice and also what the person is saying. The person is more important than what the person is saying because the person has the knowledge about what he or she wants or what we want to learn from them. Then we go to Marcus Buckingham. One interesting thing about Marcus Buckingham is he was talking about love. And not the love we all know. The love most of us know as young people is the chemical equation that happens in our body or the chemical reactions. But he was talking about love being the most powerful force in the world. Why is love the most powerful force in the world? When I love something, I'm committed to it. When I'm committed to it, I want to do it almost every day. Now, those who play football, why do they play football? Because they love to play football. Those who play video games, why do they play video games? It's not because they have nothing doing, but because they love to play video games. So when you love something, it gives you that energy, even when you don't feel like doing it, to do it. That is why love is the most powerful force in the world. He also mentioned life is motion, and we are all moving through experience. Now, life is motion. Nobody stays the way he or she is till they let me say, till they die. We all move from one state to another. For example, in schools, we all started from the kindergartens, then went to the basic school or the primary school, then to JHS, SHS, and then to the universities. Now, looking at this, moving from one state to another, we meet different people. We encounter different stuff. We learn from them, and then they make us better. Some of the things we do in certain stage are not to be regretted. Rather, we have to admit it and then see it as something that has pushed us or helped us to where we are now. If that thing hadn't happened, who knows where we would have been? And leaders are experience makers because they always want to do it. They always want to try. Now, being in an organization, and let's say a fault has happened, nobody would want to go around it. Being in Ghana, let's say you go around it and then something happens again, everybody will say you did it. But being a leader, you know you're accountable for whatever happens. So therefore, you always want to give it a try. So leaders are experience makers. Then to Ryan Leaks. Ryan Leaks was very passionate about us chasing failures, which not everybody would love that. But I saw it in a different way. The first one I'll talk about is failure is an option. Why is failure an option? Failure is an option because I fail when I say I have failed. If I say I haven't failed, who are you to tell me I have failed? Are we okay? So therefore, failure is an option. And one nice thing about options is you get to choose which of the options is best for you. So failure being an option, we should not allow failure to drown us deep down. Rather, we should choose, or we should, let me put it this way. From John C. Maxwell, he says, sometimes we win, sometimes we learn. We don't fail or we don't lose, we learn. Because these failures are teaching us something. If we did something today and then it didn't really go right, the next time we wouldn't do it again. So we are learning something from the failure. The next thing he spoke about is failure loses its grip when we keep moving forward. And it's true. When I fail or when I make a mistake or I do something, and then I tend to sit there and then I cry, I'm not getting anywhere. I will tend to feel more, let me say, more sad because I'm sitting at one place and I'm thinking about it over and over and over again. But when it happens and I see it as, at least I'm a human being, and as a human being, human beings makes mistakes. So therefore, I have to keep moving forward. When I keep moving forward, I don't really focus on what has happened anymore. I then focus on achieving the next big thing. So therefore, failure loses its grip when we keep moving forward. The third one I'll speak about is all failures are not created equally. All failures are not created equally. Some failures are very expensive. Some are less expensive. I'll give an example with myself and then we'll continue from there. So once I was at a program and then I had to pick something from the car of um, my boss. So I went there, I picked the thing for him and forgot to give back his car key. So after the program, I was heading home from Kanda and I got to Jawulu. So after getting to Jawulu, a call came through and then it was unusual. This is the first time we have finished something and then the boss is calling. So we answered and then he asked, is the car key with me? So I checked my pocket and I happened to have the car key with me. Now, I wasn't driving or I was lucky I didn't pick the public transport. So the person who gave me a ride had to turn back, which was not nice. Now, upon reaching there too, I felt very, very bad. Even though he wasn't angry, but it was something that wasn't right. So from that day, when anybody sends me to his or her car, I make sure the first thing I give back is the key before I give you whatever you sent me for. Now, that has made me understand that the expensive the failure, the less likely I'll repeat that again. The fourth one, failure loses its punch in a community. When we say a community, we are talking about people with, let me say, like-minded people, being in an environment with like-minded people. Now, these people are also people who see failure as an option. So therefore, when you fail or when you make a mistake, they are there to encourage you. They are there to cheer you on. Nobody looks down on you. So being in an environment like that, even when you make a mistake, you don't really see you have made a mistake because nobody is shouting at you or nobody is calling you a loser. Rather, they are telling you, you can do it. Let's do it again. Let's give it a try again. So being in a community, failure loses its punch. The fifth one I'll speak about is we should lead in such a way that help gets people into the room. We should lead in such a way that help gets people into the room. All right.
All
So
right.
in order to
I think you have to round off here because we are running out of time.
all right, so let me round off quickly. So to the conclusion. So let's be positive. That will be the first thing I'll say. The next one I'll say is let's share our thoughts. One nice thing about sharing thoughts is when you have one thought, I have another. When you share your thought with me, I have two. I share my thought with you, you have two. So let's share our thoughts and not think people will go and then destroy our thoughts or our ideas. The third one is leadership is caught and is taught and is not caught. So if you are out there and you want to be a leader, you can learn how to be a leader. You can understudy people, or you can read books or watch CTL Africa, and then you become the leader you want to be. Let's be empathetic. Let's not be confirmation bias. Let's not listen to those who agree with us only, but rather listen to everybody, because everybody has something good to tell us. And then good intentions are nothing until it becomes a good action. So let's take those action and not just think about taking those action, because nobody can see our thoughts. They only see our actions. Thank you very much, CTL. And here ends my takeaway.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Despite the challenges, you've been able to give us a lot, and there's so much that I have written down, and I believe is the same for you people on the call. I'm looking in the chat, and I don't see any questions, but I see lots of comments, and everybody is really, really pleased with how our young people have done wonderful presentations. And I think we, the older generation, we have to be learning this from you. You have to mentor us. We have to do reverse mentoring. So now I have everyone here. Since we don't have too much time, I'm just going to look at the presentation, the last presentation that Emmanuel did, that says that we should put things in action. And that is what I'm going to ask from all of you. What is the action from all these learners? What is the one thing? I'll start with you, Richard, first. What is the one thing that you are implementing or executing or putting in action? So, Richard, you start first, then I'll go to Richmond and then Emmanuel.
Okay, so what I'm putting in action is that, as I said, no matter what kind of good intention that you have to practice what you have learned in order for it to materialize. You know, John C. Maxwell mentioned one thing that really struck me so much. You know, I say value all people. And he continues saying that I didn't do that when I was young. And that one is so deep to the extent that, you know, who John C. Maxwell is saying this from his heart is something that we should take a very critical look at. Sometimes, as young people, we may see people that, as young leaders, we see people that we think we are above them and we take them for granted, not knowing that one day or one time we will also find ourselves in a situation that we may need help from them. And if you don't value that person at that time that you are in a position, in fact, if you're also in the same position, you're going to find yourself wanting and may not recover. And I think it's very important we value all manner of people, old, younger, and then our peers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. Richmond, over to you now. Richmond, can you hear me? I think Richmond is, yeah, okay. So the question is, what is, from all these takeaways, what is one thing that you have put into action? You're on mute. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you. Sorry, I'm unmuted.
So I've implemented, and I'm still implementing the first takeaway, which is if you're not solving a problem, you're a useless person. So with my club, I've organized programs around the problem I want to solve, and next week we even have another program where we are doing an afterthought series. Or I did an in-person program last week. Yeah, so for my members, it was very entertaining. So next week we'll be having an afterthought series on what the presenters have said, a similar thing like this. Yeah, so we'll be having other participants also share their views. So that is what I can say I've implemented and I'm still implementing, solving of problems.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And Emmanuel?
All right. So what I'm implementing is I'm leading in a way that will help get people into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like I stated before, we are the present leaders and not the future leaders. So it's high time the voice of the young people is being heard. So therefore, in the club I coordinate, like I said, the Leadership and Communications Club. Every child does something. It's between the ages of 6 years to 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then every day, a young person does something different. There is no need because I'm coordinating, I'll do everything myself. You also have something to say. So bring it out there and say it. So I would say, let's give the young people the exposure and help them grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, you future leaders. I mean, you've been able to give us such a powerful presentation today, and I'm reading the comment from Paulisiedu who says, so powerful. This will help build up great and responsible leaders and not a balance sheet leaders. God bless Live to Lead. Thank you so much, Paul. And I think we've learned a lot from our people on the call today, from Richard, from Emmanuel, and from Richmond. Sam, would you want to say something before we give them the floor to give their closing remarks?
No, I just want to thank them. This has been amazing, and I agree with Adam that they are the present leaders. They're already leading in different ways, and I want to encourage them to keep leading. This gives me hope. This gives us hope that the work that we are doing here at CTL and many other places, we can be confident that if we can continue to work together, Ghana can become a better place. So kudos to all you guys. Very soon, Sarah and I will retire. Then you can guys, because you're already emotion. All
Yeah.
right. So
Uh,
your 30 seconds closing remarks, and we will run away.
okay, we start with Richard.
Looks like
Okay, so
Richmond
my closing
disappeared.
remarks
Okay.
is
Yes.
that City Africa is doing very great for young leaders and leaders across Ghana and the world. And I recommend that next year, the dates I think has hit me a little bit. Next
Is the,
year, I think
is the 4th
that
of
is
October.
4th, yes, 4th October. I
November.
recommend,
October.
okay, I recommend that every leader or aspiring leader join this great program either by virtual or by person in order to get the full benefit of this powerful and impactful program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. And then Richmond, your parting remarks.
His internet is a bit
Yes,
hazy.
yeah. Let's go to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, over to you.
Okay. Before I go to my remarks, I would say that now is the time to worry about our reputation and not when we grow up. So the young people out there, let's think about our reputations now. What we are doing, what would they amount to in the near future? Now, to my remarks. all I have to say is LIVE2LEAD is a very good program. And if I had my way, young people should also take part in it. I mean, the children. So thank you very much for putting something together, something like this together, to help us to also go out there and impact the world in our little way. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We are creating a community, and it's with you that we create that community to really change the world. So, Sam, over to you to close us.
All right. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, I see Richmond's network is not allowing him on. But Richmond, Emmanuel, Richard, once again, I want to thank all of you. And I want to thank all of you on the call, any of you who is willing to come on the platform to share thoughts on leadership, personal growth, and life. This platform is for all of us. We are all learning together. Please, this is where leaders are made. Keep learning, keep growing. And tomorrow being Sunday, let us all look for opportunity to create room for God, and let's serve him the best way we can. God bless all of you. Sarah, thank you so much for supporting us all the way from Geneva. Richmond, Ankoma, you're not here, but thank you so much. Kofi, thank you so much, all of you, for supporting. And until next week, when we come your way with another lesson on leadership, good night. God bless you. I'd like to welcome all of you warmly to LIVE2LEAD 2023. This will be our 7th year hosting LIVE2LEAD.
To me, development is not those and things, but to what extent people will live independent lives so that they can feed, grow, shelter, defend, and protect themselves.
A legacy-minded leader is somebody who looks beyond his own circles, his own self-interest, and even dares to look beyond generations after him.
Then you know the person is a leader, because that's legacy. They are thinking of tomorrow. They've gone beyond today.
I came to this program, LIVE2LEAD 2023, to improve or to add value upon myself. That was my expectation.
If I didn't learn anything, I've learned that leaders pay a price, and it takes paying the price to be a leader and be able to pull others even beyond where you have reached. So yes, it's been a very impactful session.
What's sort of amazing is been engaging from the morning session up to now. We have learned and are going to impact the next generation. It's a must attend for next year. Join next year and don't miss out. Thank you very much.
Why is LIVE2LEAD important? I think it is embedded in the very aim of the conference, LIVE2LEAD. Our purpose as human beings is to lead.